Hello, Fast Signs family. Just in the last week, I've had more than a dozen franchisees reach out to me and say, I'm just so worried. I'm so scared about the future. I'm just worried. I just can't stop myself from worrying. And that's what I want to talk about today, is I want to talk about worry. I want to tell you that I truly believe that one of the most common and one of the most destructive personal habits anybody can have is the habit of worry. I got to tell you about Grandmother Monson. Grandmother Monson worried about everything. I mean, like, her whole life was absorbed with worry to where she just didn't do anything and she just became a shell of herself. That was my dad's mom. And I mean, it almost became a joke in the family with the kids, like, what is Grandmother Monson going to be worried about today? She just was paralyzed by worry. One of the things we got to think about is each and every one of us has 100% of energy, right? I don't know how much your energy is compared to my energy, but you got 100% of your daily energy. And if you use 40% of your energy up worrying, you only got 60% left to do stuff. So the bad thing about worry is it just saps our energy. It paralyzes us and it sucks up our mind. So you hear me talk a lot about positive mental attitude, and I happen to think that focusing on not worrying is part of our positive mental attitude. I very often tell myself, if I'm getting negative, to stop. Well, if I catch myself worrying, I tell myself to stop as well, and to then get my mind on other stuff. So worrying wastes our time. Worrying saps our strength. I remember back, I think it was in the 80s, there was a gentleman that did a lot. I think he was a psychologist or a psychotherapist, Leo Buscaglia, and I read several of his books. And one of his quotes that I came across recently was, worry never robs tomorrow of its sorrow. It only saps today of its joy. And I'm going to change that a little bit. I'm going to say worry never robs tomorrow of its sorrow. It only saps today of its energy. And today we need lots of energy. We got to face this pandemic. Guys, we got to get it going. It doesn't get you anywhere. Like, worrying is a waste of time. It doesn't change anything. It just messes with your mind, saps your strength. Dale Carnegie said, our fatigue is often caused not by work, but by worry, frustration, and resentment. So I'm just going to get rid of the frustration and resentment and say, Dale Carnegie said, our fatigue is often caused not by work, but by worry. We got to stop wearing ourselves out worrying about all the what ifs. Instead, we got to make a decision to take action. A day of worry is more exhausting than a week of work. And there's a great difference between worry and concern. A worried person sees a problem. A concerned person solves the problem. So, Winston Churchill said, I never worry about action, but only about inaction. So don't worry, instead take action. Action is worry's worst enemy. You remember 2 weeks ago I did a video on grit, and I talked about Angela Lee Duckworth, and her favorite quote of mine in that entire video I made and in her TED Talk and everything is, as much as talent counts, effort counts twice. Effort is twice as important as talent. Effort is action. So the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people, or less successful people, is action. And I can even say, from thinking about all the years I've been in franchising, we're just going to say more than 20, because when I say 40, you figure out I'm a really old hag. But when I think about the difference between successful franchisees and less successful franchisees, the difference is action. The more successful franchisees take more proactive action. Action is what helps you make progress. So look around you in your own life with the people that you know, the ones you went to high school with, the ones you went to college with, the ones that are more successful, the ones that are less successful. And in your mind, ask who takes the most action. Look around the FASTSIGNS network and ask yourself that very same question. So daily action is the key. And so the key is, how do I make sure I'm taking action? Well, I actually block time on my calendar to take action. Every Tuesday night now, I have time on my calendar to create the content for the video I'm going to shoot on Wednesday. 9 times out of 10, I shoot it on Wednesday. Sometimes I don't follow my calendar well and I don't get it done on Tuesday night, and then Blair, our amazing a videographer gets a text from me that says, hey, can we move video time to Thursday? Because I didn't get it done. But 9 times out of 10, I've blocked that out on my calendar on the Tuesday night. I create the content and then I film it the very next day. So you can do the same thing. Block time in your calendar for proactive actions. Block time on your calendar for the action of communicating with your team. Block time on your calendar to go to prepared.fastsigns.com and figure out what you're going to implement next from a marketing standpoint. So it's that daily consistent action which is the differentiator between success and less than success. Now, there's no question the pandemic has caused us to have to step up our game. Let's go back to October, November, December, January, February. The FASTSIGNS network in the US was consistently growing sales from what we call a comparative sales or a comp center sales, 10, 11, 12% month in, month out. Things were great. Everything was firing on cylinders. Middle of March, second week of March, what happens? Pandemic, things change, which means we have to change. We need to change up our game to have the same kind of success we were having pre-pandemic. So if others have done it, so can you. If one person can do it, so can the rest of the FASTSIGNS network. So what we need to do is develop our action muscle. I've, by the way, been working out again, so I want you to be really impressed with the solidness of that muscle. But what we need to do is we need to become action takers. We need to be people of action. We need to step up our game and probably in the pandemic do more action. A few weeks ago, you had a webinar with the Clint Ehlers, Gabby Mullinax, Shane Beard. And what they talked about is the action that they're doing every single day, not just for 6 hours a day, not for 8 hours a day, but in pandemic world, it's 12 hours a day, it's 14 hours a day. And this whole thing about taking action works in every area of your life. It works in your business life, your FASTSIGNS life, but it also works for your health. It works for your fitness. It works for your spiritual life. It works for your parenting skills. It's all about taking action. So if you think about it, if you could get one day scheduled that had all your actions aligned with your goals, and let's assume your goals are to be successful in your FASTSIGNS and grow your sales, even during the pandemic, grow your sales and profits. If you can get your actions lined up for one day of the things you need to do, the proactive things you need to do, and then you duplicate that 5 days in a row, you've done it for a week. And you duplicate that week several weeks in a row when you've done it for a month or 2 or 3. Then you need to make strategic adjustments as needed. As an example, we didn't sell a lot of B2C, business to consumer products and services pre-pandemic. But right now, we're having to pivot. We didn't used to sell safety barriers or safety shields pre-pandemic, but we've had to make that strategic adjustment because things have changed. But it's still about being action-oriented. Get those actions lined up, schedule time on your calendar. So it doesn't matter where you are now. You could be one of our UK franchisees and all but 3 were forced to completely close, not even be able to go in their center, not be able to talk to a customer. So it doesn't matter where you are now. Or you've been in the United States and you've been in a central business and able to be open the whole time, but still had some significant sales declines. Doesn't matter where you are. You can right now today make a decision to develop yourself to a higher level or a higher standard of being an action-oriented person. You can do anything you want to do if you want it badly enough. If you want it badly enough, you're going to make it happen. So I've said the pandemic requires change, and your business, whether it was great pre-pandemic or was average pre-pandemic, you can all make it great now. Absolutely. Now, this is going to require a little bit of grit. We talked about grit 2 weeks ago, but grit, that perseverance, that being relentless, that more action, more action, more action is very rewarding. And the reality is your actions highlight your real priorities. Where you spend your time reflect your true priorities in your life. So maybe you have to reprioritize. So what I want each and every one of you to do is separate yourselves away from the scared people. Separate yourselves to be different than the worried people. Separate yourselves and be different than the lazy people. Become an action-oriented person. Winners take action. In this pandemic, there will absolutely be winners. We've already got lots of winners. If we take a look at April same center sales, 19% of our franchisees in the US had sales increases over April of last year. We dig deeper in that. It's not because they're brand new franchisees. It's because they're franchisees that took action. So winners take action. We're going to have winners in the pandemic. So the winners are going to be the ones that stop sapping their energy with worry and decide to take action. Because all worry is going to do is waste your time. It's going to waste your energy. Action makes a difference. And you know what? You've got this, and we're here to help. Need ideas to act on? We can give them to you. Reality is you probably already know what they are, but sometimes you need to hear them again. So from a sales standpoint, proactive emails, individual, to customers and prospects from you, and be a pest. Send them again and again and again and again to the same person. Proactive telephone sales calls, once again, to customers and prospects, being a pest again and again and again and again, so that when they need something, and there are going to be a lot of people that need stuff now as more and more states and cities and counties and the UK and areas and provinces in Canada are opening back up, yes, in phased approaches, but all those folks that are opening back up are going to need more signage and visual graphics. Proactive emails, proactive telephone calls, click to sell, managing your sales team, making sure they're being proactive in the marketing area, taking advantage of every single opt-in fast mail, doing pay-per-click, boosted social media ads, putting signs, yard signs around town that you sell COVID-19 signage. That's taking action in a marketing area. In operations, everything from training and developing your staff to managing expenses. From a financial management standpoint, updating your cash flow projection and doing it monthly or at least quarterly, knowing where you are from that standpoint. So we've created the action items. We've created a lot of tools. Your fellow franchisees have created a lot of tools and sent them in, and we've got them all posted on prepared.fastssigns.com. Look, stop worrying. Take action. We're all in this together, and we can succeed in a pandemic. Thank you.